first rant back in a while. I wasn't even that nervous to restart vlogging. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Neftali, and today we're gonna rant. I haven't ranted in a minute, and today we're gonna do it because I think it will feel good to get this off my chest. Today we're gonna talk about one of my favorite shows that came out last year. It's called Love Like the Galaxy. It's a Chinese drama, period piece. I mean, it's not historical, but it's set in the past and it's actually really good. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. This rant is gonna give spoilers, so be aware of that. Like I said, I love it, but there's one thing that made me really mad, and it's not actually about the show, it's about the audience's reactions. And sometimes when I rant about the audience's reaction, you know, because I watch shows and I'm like, oh, the character was really well done, even though that character is annoying, or I love that character, or that action was stupid. I get it, but then the audience just says things and I'm like mind blown. So today we're gonna rant about that. So to give you a little backstory on the show, it's a romance show first, and it's about a guy called Ling Buyi. Sorry if I mispronounced any name. I don't know how to speak Mandarin. And a girl named Cheng Xiaoshan. And Ling Buyi is a general. He's had a family feud and a revenge plan that he has to enact because his family was killed, and he wants to find who is responsible for killing his family and get revenge on them. Cheng Xiaoshan, on the other hand, is a girl that was neglected by her family because her parents are also generals in the army, mom and dad, and they left her when she was a kid to go be stationed and go to war. And they left her with the grandma, and since the grandma didn't like the mother, she let out her anger on Xiaoshang, and Xiaoshang grew up being neglected and like illiterate, uneducated, and left to her own devices, like basically. So when her family comes back towards the beginning of the show, she is always reprimanded because she's not a proper young lady. She's mischievous, she's doing whatever she wants. When she has a problem, she gets revenge. It's very much an eye for an eye with her. If you're good to her, she's gonna be good to you. If you're bad to her, she's gonna be bad to you. So it's two completely different personalities, but it's two people that are gonna end up together. And like, I really love seeing their love stories because it's not just them, the characters around them are really well played. Love the king, love the queen and the consort, which by Ling Buyi was raised by them because they took him in when his family was killed. I mean, he still had his father, but they felt bad for him, so they took him in, they raised him. He kind of became the favorite son, even though he wasn't the actual son. And I love the fact that in this show, it wasn't a fight between the queen and the consort. They were working together, although we know from the beginning that the king was actually in love with the consort and married the queen only for political reasons. They still worked well together, they were still friends, all three together. It was amazing seeing the dynamics. So seeing the dynamics of the parents of Ling Buyi, and then seeing the dynamic of the parents of Cheng Xiaoshan, which they were very much in love together, but they were not giving really good parenting because they didn't know how to deal with her. Since they came back, she was 15. She was rambunctious, and they used strictness to try and shape her, which of course did not work, because who are you to me? What they were trying to do to get her to be a good lady was looking more like criticisms and harshness and bad parenting, because at one point they straight up disparage her in front of everybody. When Ling Yi proposes to Shaosheng in front of the king, they're like, oh, she's not good to be a wife. But in doing so, making her not being if Ling Yi would have retracted his proposal, she wouldn't have been able to marry anybody. They disparaged her so much. But that's another thing. So that's their backstory. Now I'm going to talk about the two things that make me want to rant and make me mad about this whole thing. So first thing is how people are always mad at Chen Shaosheng. So Niao Niao, like I said, is a mischievous kid. She doesn't take anything from anybody, so she's very much an eye for an eye. She would get bullied because Ling Yi was seen as the handsome guy. He's from a good family. He has the favor of the king, queen in concert. He is perfect in every way. So he was seen as the top. And then Niao Niao, the girl that has nothing, that is uneducated, illiterate, she gets him. So she was getting bullied because she didn't have a standing in the royalty. She didn't have a standing in a social setting. So at one point she got pushed into a lake with snakes in it. She set up a trap for the people that pushed her into the lake, where dirt fell on the girls that pushed her. Branches were hitting them. I think dirty water fell on them. A lot of things happened. So she set up this trap the day after the birthday of the queen. And people in the comments were like, she doesn't think how this is going to affect Ling Yi, because by that point they were engaged. And she didn't tell Ling Yi that she was going to do this. And he was kind of sad because she didn't rely on him. But then people also were mad at her for being childish and doing things without thinking of him and without like telling him. And it's like, you've got to realize that she's had, for 15 years, she didn't have anybody to rely on. She didn't have friends, she didn't have cousins, she didn't have sisters, she didn't have parents. And then once and then the grandma that she had, she couldn't rely on her. The servants that were in the house, she couldn't rely on them. So she learned that you couldn't rely on people. You had to do things by yourself. So she did things by herself. And then Ling Yi came along and kind of forced his way into her life, to be honest. Like, she was not gonna marry him. She just proposed in front of everybody, and then her parents disparaged her. So to go against what her parents were saying, she said yes. But it's not a love story of, oh, I love you and I'm gonna do everything for you. It's a story of her growing as she went. And people kept saying that she never learned, and it's like, no, she did, but it was slow changes and it was gradual. It was like, oh, I gotta learn that I can't rely on him. I can't use him to get my problems fixed. I can love him because he's gonna be there. I can put everything of me with him, and I'm gonna be safe. She had to learn that. And people didn't understand that. Yes, she started as a brat. She didn't end up as a brat though. She ended up more mature. She was 15 and with no education. So to be honest, she was better than most 15 with no education would have been. So that's one of the things that I did not understand from the audience, like the way that they expected her to be like this mature woman instead of this immature child that she was. And they expected her, like, they really expected somebody that was fully grown, like Ling Yi, who was 21 in the show at the time of the events that I'm talking about. Like, she was 15, he was 21. So she was 15, neglected, uneducated. He was 21, who had seen war, who had been to war, who had strategized war. he was grown and mature, yes, but you chose the child. Chose the child. Calm down. So people didn't understand that, and I didn't understand how they didn't understand that. And then the other thing that really, that one got on my nerve, and that's why I'm doing this video, is people being mad at Xiaosheng because she didn't forgive Ling Bui for abandoning her. So basically, they were engaged, they were gonna get married, and on the day of the marriage, Ling Bui enacted his revenge. So throughout the show, you get to see him trying to learn who killed his parents, who killed this, that, and the third. He gets people left, right. He gets revenge on them left, right, legally, of course, because he's a general. And then he gets to learn that his adoptive father, so basically he pretended to be the son of his uncle, because the actual son of his uncle died with his parents. So he learned that his uncle was the one who killed his parents. No, he didn't learn that. He knew that, but he learned that he didn't have evidence on his uncle. So the only way to get revenge on the uncle was straight up kill him, slaughter his whole house and kill him. But that would make him a criminal. And he decided that he was going to do it without telling anything to Chen Xiaosheng. But remember that Nyanya has been learning to trust him, to telling everything, to confide in him. So by that time, she was fully trusting him. She knew everything. He knew everything about her, and she actually knew of his secret. She figured it out, but she was waiting for him to tell her, and she gave him plenty of occasions. She said everything. She gave him occasion on occasion on occasion, and then she swore an oath. Like, she literally swore an oath in front of his ancestors, like the shrine that they made for his family. She swore an oath to always be there for him, to always be with him, no matter what, to die with him, to live with him. So he never told her. And then on the wedding night, like the day before the wedding, he went and got his revenge. Because to him, it was like, I can't get my revenge when I'm married to her because it will affect her. But then she figured out that he was enacting the revenge, so she went to where he was killing his uncle, and she saved him from the guards. While they were running away, they ended up at a cliff, and to save her, he pushed himself off the cliff. Didn't fall all the way through. He fell like a little lower, so he survived, of course. But he abandoned her because she was like, no, we're gonna do this together, and he said no, pushed himself off, left her there. And then once everything was resolved, once it was clear of charges, when the truth was out and people were like on his side and like, oh fine, he's okay, he said, I would do it again. And that crushed her because he knew her childhood. He knew that she had abandonment issues. He knew that she didn't like being betrayed. She told him from the beginning, I will love you and be with you as long as you don't betray me and abandon me. She straight up told him, and he did it. So then she didn't forgive him for it, and they spent 5 years apart before going back together, and blah 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 blah. Happy ending. Great. What I didn't get was people being mad that she was mad, you know? Because you've seen the same show I have. You've seen the way she grew up. You've seen the family she had. You've seen the struggles she has had to go through because of abandonment and betrayal. So why do you feel like she was wrong for not accepting what he did? She's not saying he was wrong for the revenge. She's saying he was wrong for not trusting her. Because since the beginning, he's been planning things. And yes, she's been fucking up some of those things because he hasn't told her anything. You know? And since he's not told her things, she's kind of went on her own, and people were using that against her, being like, oh well, if he told her, she would have fucked it. No, it's like this, it's the same thing as, if you don't tell me, how do I know I'm not supposed to do it? It's common sense. Tell me what I'm not supposed to do so I don't do it, you know? It's so the fact that he didn't tell her, and as she not figured it out by herself and he died, she wouldn't even know why. She would not know why he went and killed his father, because nobody at that point knew except his trusted aides, who weren't going to tell anything, knew that he was the nephew and not the son. So now people are mad at her for not forgiving him, when he's the one that told her, trust me and rely on me and I'll always be there for you. Like, he told her, like, she was fine on her own. She was gonna, at this point, she probably would have been a spinster for the rest of her life. But she was fine with that. She was fine with relying on herself. And then you come in, you're like this, you do this grandiose thing of, I love you, you're perfect, I love the fact that you're not like other girls, basically. And then you come in and do all this, and then you're like, trust me, trust me, trust me, trust me. I'm mad that you're not trusting me. I'm sad that you're not trusting me. And then the moment she trusts you, bam, abandon and betrayal. So to me, that felt very hypocritical for people to understand his side of things, because we see both of their lives. So they understood his side of things, but they didn't want to understand hers for some reason. And like, I know that in Chinese drama, it's often not even just Chinese drama, in dramas in general, it's often seen that girls are somewhat childish, immature. They're doing stupid things. They can't be like strong, independent women. But there's a reason for that. The drama was well crafted, and every action elicited a reaction, and then every action had a backstory for it. So the reason why she didn't want to forgive him, she wasn't like, oh, you're wrong for doing the revenge. She was like, you're wrong for not telling me. And I didn't get why people didn't understand that, and why people were mad at her and saying like, he shouldn't have wanted to be back with her. She was bad anyway. She wasn't at his level. She wasn't good for him, and things like that. So that's just my opinion. And like, I don't have a resolution for this. I don't have really a conclusion for this. I just wanted to rant. So yeah, this was my rant on Love Like a Galaxy. I just wanted to say out loud that the characters were well done, and I understood why each character did what they did, and that Chen Xiaoshen wasn't a bad character, and her actions weren't just like thought out of nowhere, and they weren't just there just to be there. I do not understand some of the people in the comments. Maybe we can have a conversation in the comments with people telling me what they think. If they have if you have a different opinion, let me know. This show was out like 5 months ago, so I'm not sure if people will see this video, but yeah, thank you for watching my video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, put on your bell notification, go follow my other socials, and see you in the next video, whether it's a vlog or a rant. Bye guys.